Julia Stiles, who's here with 2 films at the festival, so you're very busy.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
So I'm actually, in a couple of hours, after you're on the red carpet, I'm seeing Linings Playbook along with you guys. So you're kind of hidden in the trailer. So is your character a little... you have some secret plot points, or what can you tell me about Veronica?
I'm barely in the movie.
Barely
honestly,
in
I'm in like 2 scenes, but I was really happy to be a part of the bigger picture. They're memorable scenes, and it's certainly important to the story. Like I played Jennifer Lawrence's older sister, who's kind of pushy and passive aggressive and determined to be the perfect matchmaker. And I arrange a dinner party where Bradley Cooper's character is going to come over. So I'm a successful matchmaker, but kind of an annoying sister. But I just wanted to work with David O. Russell, who's a great filmmaker, and I mean the cast is ridiculous. Robert De Niro and Jennifer Lawrence and Bradley Cooper, and it goes on and on. But I thought it was such a charming story about just kind of how we're all a little bit crazy. But it's a romantic comedy, and I don't know, I was just really happy to be in that company, so the size of my role didn't really matter.
Well, and David O. Russell's the kind of actor, or the director, writer, producer that when he likes somebody, he likes to work with them again. So, I mean, is he one of those directors where you see, oh, if I even have a shot to work with him, he might use me for other projects? I mean, is that something that you, as an actor, think of, even if you're offered small roles, that might lead to something else?
Sort of. I mean, I wasn't thinking that far ahead. I honestly was just like, this is a really cool movie, and I want to be a part of it in any way that I can. And working with David O. Russell was like, I learned so much about acting that I will take with me for the rest of my career. So, you know.
So you got much more out.
I got much more than I expected. Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
So tell me about your other film, which has it already showed here?
It's showing tonight at 9. The other movie is called It's a Disaster, and it's a comedy about. It's totally different from Silver Linings Playbook in that it was very, very low budget indie film that I made with like friends of mine. America Ferrera's in it, David Cross, and then this comedy troupe called The Vacationeers. But it's about a group of friends who get together for like a Sunday couples brunch, and over the course of the day they discover that it's the end of the world and that there's a major disaster happening outside. But it's all about how they're totally in denial and don't know how to deal with anything and are like completely useless when technology goes away. So it's like there are a lot of mishaps in the movie, but it's a comedy.
So if you had to choose your favorite genre, because you've obviously done a variety of, I mean, O was one of the most powerful roles I've seen you in. It was certainly very moving, and then obviously you've done stuff that's very mainstream and light. I mean, are you drawn to one thing or the other, or does it totally base on the script or the director?
I just like to change it up. I mean, it's sort of, now I look for, is it a movie that I would want to go and see? Is it a part that I feel like I could contribute something to? And, do I feel like I'll be in good hands in terms of, like, do I like the director and the material of the script? Although a lot of times, scripts change, or you get, like with Silver Linings Playbook, when I showed up on set, our script was changing constantly, and David O. Russell is all about improvisation. So,
for me, is that easy or hard for you to do, like, on the spot?
I used to be really afraid of it, and David O. Russell made me not afraid of it.
Well, that's great. So, last question: when you have movies that you've wrapped and they're in the can and you're waiting for them to come out, do you still get really excited for people to see them or your family? Like, I've done something that I'm really excited for the public or whoever to see. And then, I mean, do you kind of become a fan of your own work as wanting people to see what you've done?
I mean, I try to not become a fan of my own work. I'm very critical of myself. I'm very much like always think that I can do better and always want to go back. And like, I look back at or this adaptation of Hamlet that I did with Ethan Hawke, where I'm like, I wish I could get a do-over on that one, because I always think that I can be better. But I'm like a child in the sense that I still get really excited about the fact that I have a profession where I can play dress up and like travel the world and tell stories, and it never gets. I never get used to it. Like, I get to come to Austin, Texas, that I've never been to before, and stay in a nice hotel, and like, I'm really looking forward to being in a theater, having an audience see this movie that I was just a little part of. That to me is always exciting, it never gets. I never get used to it.
That's very good. Well, thank you, Joya, for talking to us. For Texas Art and Film, I'm Dustin Chase.